In the year following the shocking attacks at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, where 11 people were brutally gunned down, and the shooting at the Chabad of Poway in San Diego, where one woman was killed, anti-Semitic incidents have been on the rise. In Santa Monica, swastikas and hate speech scrawled on a popular pedestrian bridge this past July. In Northern California, students and staff at this high school shocked to find anti-Semitic graffiti spray painted on walls 2 weeks ago. In Chicago, synagogues targeted this past May in a rash of suspected hate crimes. The reports coming in across the country alarming, but one part of the Jewish community feeling more vulnerable.
He knocked me out 2 teeth. The nose is broken.
Rabbi Avraham Gupin is Orthodox. He's still recovering from a vicious attack after a man assaulted him in a park in Brooklyn last month. A suspect now in custody, charged with a hate crime.
It was a hate. He said Jews. He said something in that direction. He was for certain looking to kill. No doubt about it.
The New York City Police Department is also investigating another possible bias crime involving an Orthodox Jewish man who was assaulted outside this Brooklyn synagogue several days after Gupin was attacked.
We've seen some mental illness. We've seen some people that are just that hate.
This year, anti-Semitic hate crimes in New York City up 63% compared to last year. While those numbers do not specify the type of Jewish person attacked, Orthodox members of the Jewish community say because they're more visible, they are an easier target. Akiva Pearl says it has been decades since he has felt so unsure about his surroundings.
I grew up in London, England, and that's what it was back then 50 years ago. Somehow it's returning, somewhat.
And why do you think it's returning? What do you think is behind it?
I really don't have an answer for you.
Bob Moskowitz volunteers on a civilian safety patrol in Flatbush, Brooklyn, an area with a large Orthodox community.
You've got one of these mobile command centers right next to a synagogue.
Correct, because it acts as a deterrent.
Moskowitz says he was not surprised to hear about those disturbing numbers coming from the NYPD.
I'd like to think that we have our fingers on the pulse of the community. And we do. And we're hearing a lot of stuff. People are afraid. If they're not afraid, they're certainly concerned.
City officials say they hear those concerns.
We are taking this very seriously, and I'm tackling this head on because no one should have to change the way they dress, whether they wear a facial beard or they wear Hasidic garb or a yarmulke on their head.
The Anti-Defamation League says what is needed in a climate of intolerance is more education, especially about the Holocaust, and less rhetoric from elected officials.
Standing up and denouncing hate in all its forms, it's not just words. It really makes a difference in the aftermath of a hate crime or worse.
As for Akiva Pearl, he offered this advice.
Increasing in goodness and kindness to one another, all walks of life, that increases in goodness and helps to, because a little light, elevates and illuminates all darkness.
Hey everybody, it's Jake Tapper from CNN State of the Union and factcheck.org, and this week we're going to take a look at a false claim that President Trump promoted about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, the Democrat from Minnesota, who is one of the first 2 Muslim American congresswomen ever elected. In his latest attack on Congresswoman Omar, President Trump retweeted this video and post from conservative commentator Terrence K. Williams. The president wrote, quote, Ilhan Omar, a member of AOC plus 3, will win us the great state of Minnesota, the new face of the Democrat Party. Williams' original tweet included video of Congresswoman Omar with a group dancing, and Terrence Williams wrote, Ilhan Omar partied on the anniversary of 9/11. So, is that true? Was Congresswoman Omar dancing, partying on the anniversary of 9/11? No, it's not true. It's false. It's a smear. And President Trump retweeted it to tens of millions of his Twitter followers. The video was originally posted by Adam Green, the co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. It was from September 13th, not September 11th, September 13th. It was at the Congressional Black Caucus event, Breaking Concrete Ceilings. None of this had anything to do with 9/11, And it did not take place on the anniversary of 9/11. Congresswoman Omar did say something on the anniversary of 9/11. She tweeted, quote, "September 11th was an attack on all of us. We will never forget the thousands of Americans who lost their lives in the largest terror attack on U.S. soil." So to be clear, the tweet that Terrence K. Williams wrote was a lie. The video was from September 13th, 2019, not September 11th. It was not her celebrating 9/11. It was her celebrating the Congressional Black Caucus weekend. On the day that President Trump retweeted this lie to tens of millions of Americans, Congresswoman Omar tweeted that, in fact, the dancing was from the September 13th event with the Congressional Black Caucus weekend, and she wrote that President Trump was, quote, "continuing to spread lies that put my life at risk." And let's be clear what this was. This is President Trump spreading lies about a Muslim American congresswoman, lies that suggest that somehow she was at best indifferent and at worst celebrating 9/11. That is about the ugliest smear you can say about a Muslim American, and President Trump amplified it and never apologized. Never. A reminder to all you politicians out there, you're entitled to your own opinions, not to your own facts, and never to your own smears. I'm Jake Tapper for CNN State of the Union and factcheck.org.